Picture this. You're outside on a crisp, clear night, maybe holding a cup of coffee, maybe wondering if your neighbor's porch light is secretly trying to blind you. You glance up at the stars and think about how small you are compared to the universe. Now imagine this. Far beyond Pluto, far beyond anything your eyes can see, a massive, mysterious object is streaking into our solar system at such ridiculous speed that if it were heading for Earth, you wouldn't have time to finish that coffee before it was here. And here's the kicker. It's not from around here, not even close. This thing started its journey around another star, maybe billions of years ago, and now, by pure cosmic coincidence, it's cutting through our neighborhood. If that sounds familiar, it's because something like this happened before, twice. Let's rewind to October 2017. Astronomers in Hawaii spotted something weird in the data from the Pan-STARRS telescope. It wasn't moving like a planet or an asteroid from our own system. It was moving too fast to be bound to the sun's gravity. In other words, it was just passing through. They named it Oumuamua, which means a messenger from afar arriving first in Hawaiian. And wow, was it a messenger? Oumuamua didn't look or behave like anything we'd ever seen. It had no tail, so it wasn't acting like a comet. It wasn't round like a typical asteroid. Based on how its brightness changed, scientists guessed it might be cigar-shaped, maybe 10 times longer than it was wide. Others argued it could have been flat, like a cosmic pancake. Either way, it was odd. Then came the real twist. As it moved away from the sun, it sped up just a little. Tiny acceleration, no visible explanation. Some scientists thought maybe it was due to outgassing, jets of gas escaping from its surface. But there was no sign of that happening. That's when a few bold voices like Harvard's Avi Loeb floated the idea that it might be an artificial object, possibly even a probe from another civilization. Now, the majority of astronomers weren't ready to hang the "made by aliens" tag on it, but the mystery stuck. Oumuamua came, confused everyone, and left before we could get close enough to find solid answers. By the time we had telescopes lined up to study it, it was already fading into the deep black, never to return. Fast forward to August 2019. Astronomer Gennady Borisov spots another interstellar visitor. This one's called, fittingly, Comet Borisov. Unlike Oumuamua, Borisov played by the rules. It had a big, obvious tail and behaved exactly like a comet from our own solar system would. The only thing different was where it came from, far beyond the sun's influence. Its speed and trajectory screamed interstellar. Borisov's visit was huge because it proved Oumuamua wasn't a one-time fluke. Interstellar objects aren't just a sci-fi dream. They're real, and there's probably a constant trickle of them drifting through our solar system. The only reason we hadn't spotted them before is because we weren't looking closely enough. These first two discoveries changed the way astronomers think about the galaxy. It's not a lonely void between stars. It's a busy cosmic freeway with icy rocks, dusty debris, and maybe stranger things zipping along paths we barely understand. And every now and then, one of those travelers comes close enough for us to notice. Which brings us to now, July 1st, 2025. A quiet night at the ATLAS Observatory in Chile. The system's job? Scan the skies every night for asteroids that might be on a collision course with Earth. But instead of finding something dangerous, Atlas stumbled on something historic. A blip of light that, when astronomers tracked it, wasn't following the familiar oval of a solar system orbit. No, this one was on a hyperbolic path, moving so fast it was clearly just visiting. This was the third interstellar object ever detected, and within days it became clear it might be the most extraordinary of them all. How extraordinary? Well, let's just say if Oumuamua was a strange passing stranger, this new one is a giant sunglasses-wearing celebrity who just rolled into town in a jet-powered limousine. Before we talk about the brand new mystery object, we need to appreciate the pattern that's starting to emerge. Because if there's one thing space loves, it's throwing curveballs. And if you're not paying attention, you'll miss the pitch entirely. When Comet Borisov rolled through in 2019, astronomers breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, an interstellar visitor that makes sense, they thought. This one behaved exactly like the icy comets we've cataloged in our own solar system. Long, sweeping tail? Check. Predictable cometary outgassing? Check. Spectral readings that showed water vapor, carbon monoxide, and dust? Double check. If Borisov had shown up first, we probably wouldn't have even questioned it. It fit the mold perfectly. But Borisov's visit proved something even more important than its own composition. It confirmed that Oumuamua wasn't a once-in-a-lifetime sighting. It wasn't some bizarre accident. The galaxy is full of wandering debris from other star systems. Some of it will be boring, some of it will be weird, and some of it will rewrite textbooks. So when ATLAS, short for Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, detected a strange moving point of light on the night of July 1st, 2025, astronomers knew they might be on the verge of another first. ATLAS is basically the night watchman of the skies. 4 telescopes, 2 in Hawaii and 2 in Chile, scanning every inch of the heavens several times per night. Their main job? Spot asteroids that could smack into Earth with the kind of bad news energy that ended the dinosaur's career. The object they found wasn't on any known chart. That alone isn't too unusual. New asteroids pop up all the time. But within just a few hours of tracking it, the math told a shocking story. It wasn't looping around the sun. Its orbit was hyperbolic, meaning it was on a one-way ticket through our solar system and then back into interstellar space. Astronomers gave it the designation 3I/ATLAS, the 3I marking it as the third interstellar object ever found. And this is where things start getting wild. Early measurements hinted that 3I/ATLAS is huge compared to Oumuamua and Borisov. If those two were the size of modest skyscrapers, this one's the size of a city block, maybe more. And because it's moving at an insane speed, something like 72 kilometers per second relative to the sun, there's no chance we could ever catch it with current spacecraft. We can only watch and record as it blasts past. The fun, and by fun, I mean scientific chaos, began when they analyzed its brightness. Normally, you can estimate an object's size from how much sunlight it reflects. But with 3I/ATLAS, the numbers didn't quite line up. Either it's way bigger than expected, or it's covered in an unusually reflective surface, or both. That's like finding a baseball-sized diamond in your backyard. It's rare, confusing, and it makes you ask questions you didn't know you had. By the way, can we pause here for a quick reality check? This is the third time in less than a decade we've spotted something from another star system just cruising through our backyard. 3 for 3. That's starting to sound less like rare miracle and more like normal Tuesday in space. It's enough to make you wonder, how many of these things have passed by completely unnoticed before we had the tech to spot them? And here's the kicker. 3I/ATLAS isn't just another piece of interstellar ice. Some of its early spectral readings show hints of unusual materials, possibly complex organics, maybe frozen gases we haven't seen on local comets. That opens the door to big questions. Could these objects be a delivery service for the building blocks of life across the galaxy? Are we literally watching Space FedEx at work? We're still at the early stages of studying it, but every observation so far has piled on more mystery. And unlike Oumuamua, which caught us completely off guard, or Borisov, which gave us the comfort of familiarity, 3I/ATLAS sits in a strange middle ground. Huge, fast, bright, and full of question marks. You'd think tracking an object like 3I/ATLAS would be straightforward. Point some telescopes at it, snap some photos, run the math. But in reality, this is like trying to study a bullet while it's flying past you at 160,000 miles per hour. Every hour counts because every hour it's farther away and harder to see. The first big step after discovery was to bring in the Planetary Defense Network. No, not the sci-fi one with laser cannons, the real one with dozens of observatories spread across the globe. From Chile to Spain to South Africa, telescopes swiveled toward the newcomer. They needed to pin down its light curve, the way its brightness changes over time. That curve is a treasure map to an object's shape, rotation speed, and even surface features. Within days, they had a weird result. 3i over ATLAS's light curve fluctuated more than expected. That usually means it's not a nice round ball. This thing might be elongated, maybe even irregular like a giant potato, or it could be covered in bright and dark patches that spin in and out of view. Both options are fascinating because either way, it's unlike any comet we've seen from outside our solar system. Then came the spectroscopy, basically breaking the sunlight it reflects into a rainbow to see which wavelengths are missing. Those missing lines are like fingerprints for different elements and molecules. The readings showed water ice, no surprise there, but also traces of exotic ices like carbon monoxide and maybe even methane hydrates, which are extremely volatile in sunlight. This means the surface must be sublimating, venting gas into space as it approaches the sun. But here's the odd part. The gas release rate doesn't match the object's size. It's either losing material unusually slowly, or it's hiding most of its ice under a thick crust. Imagine finding a frozen lake under several feet of asphalt. That's the kind of puzzle astronomers are facing. Why would an interstellar object have such a crust? Did it bake in the heat of its original star before being ejected? Or has it been drifting so long in the cold void that cosmic radiation built up an insulating shell? Another curveball came from its trajectory. Normally, comets speed up or slow down slightly as their gas jets act like mini thrusters. 3i/ATLAS barely budges. Its path is so clean, so perfectly ballistic, that some researchers half-jokingly compared it to an engineered probe. Nobody's seriously saying it's alien tech. We've been burned by that debate with Oumuamua, but the sheer precision of its path makes you wonder if nature really can be this neat. Meanwhile, the clock is ticking. Right now, 3i/ATLAS is still bright enough to study with mid-sized telescopes, but by the end of the year, it'll fade into the darkness forever. And unless we get incredibly lucky with another close pass, this is our one shot. And here's the part that makes me laugh in disbelief. Just as astronomers were racing to study it, a handful of amateur astronomers were beating some of them to the punch. With modern, high-end backyard gear, these sky watchers were getting high-resolution images that actually helped refine the official measurements. It's like the cosmic version of birdwatching, except your bird is the size of a skyscraper and moving at 160,000 miles an hour. So far, the data is painting a picture of something ancient, tough, and surprisingly intact despite eons in deep space. But if Part 3 was the What We're Seeing Now chapter, Part 4 is going to be the real brain bender, where we dig into the theories, the possible origin stories, and why this object might be part of something much, much bigger. And hey, if you're the kind of person who hears origin story and immediately wants popcorn, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss where this is going. Okay, so here's where things get wild. You've got an object the size of a small building, moving faster than anything we've launched, coated in a crust that's hiding who knows what, and it's just casually cruising through our solar system like it owns the place. Naturally, the question is, where the heck did this thing come from? The leading theory? It's a refugee from another star system. Somewhere out there, light years away, is a planetary system that looks nothing like ours. It might have a couple of suns or none. It might have giant planets flinging small bodies around like a cosmic pinball machine. In one of those gravitational billiard games, 3i/ATLAS got the short end of the stick and was yeeted, yes, the technical term, straight into interstellar space. Now, interstellar space is brutal. It's cold, it's empty, and it's full of high-energy particles from exploding stars. Any object drifting through it gets sandblasted by cosmic rays for millions, maybe billions, of years. That could explain the weird crust. Picture a loaf of bread left in the freezer for 1,000 years, except the freezer is minus 450 degrees Fahrenheit, and your loaf is being bombarded by invisible bullets. But not everyone's satisfied with that explanation. Some scientists point out that the gas release from 3i/ATLAS is oddly restrained. Normally, comets from outside our solar system, like Borisov, go full fire hose when they get near the sun. But Atlas? More like a leaky faucet. That has led to one of my favorite fringe ideas. Maybe this isn't a natural object at all. Maybe it's debris, the leftover husk of something artificial from another civilization. Now, before you roll your eyes, remember, a few years ago, Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb made headlines suggesting Oumuamua might be a light sail, basically an alien solar-powered spacecraft. Most scientists didn't buy it, but it opened the door to asking weirder questions. Could 3i/ATLAS be a fragment of some ancient alien tech, drifting for eons until it just happened to pass through our neighborhood? Sure, it's a long shot. But when you only have a handful of interstellar visitors to study, you don't rule anything out too quickly. There's another possibility that's less flashy but just as exciting. It could be part of a much larger population of objects we've never seen. Think of it like spotting one fish in the ocean. You instantly know there are millions more out there. If 3I/ATLAS is typical, it means the galaxy is teeming with these interstellar wanderers, each carrying clues about its home system's chemistry, history, and maybe even the building blocks of life. And here's where things take a turn from fascinating to urgent. In the past decade, we've gone from 0 confirmed interstellar objects to 3. That's a massive shift in our detection capabilities. But it also means they're probably zipping past us all the time. We've just been too slow to notice. Imagine the stuff we've missed. So what's next? Some researchers are already pitching missions, literal space chases, to intercept the next one we spot. If we could launch fast enough, we could get up close, maybe even grab a sample. That's not science fiction anymore, it's engineering and budget math. And given how rare these close passes are, we might have a shot within our lifetimes. But that's the catch. You can't chase what you can't see coming. And that's why telescopes like ATLAS and the upcoming Vera Rubin Observatory are so critical. The sooner we spot these things, the sooner we can figure out whether they're frozen chunks of rock or something far more interesting. Here's the thing about 3I/ATLAS. On its own, it's just a lonely rock from deep space passing through for a brief hello before vanishing forever. But in the bigger picture, it's a signal, a flashing neon sign in the sky telling us the universe is far busier than we ever imagined. Think about it. For most of human history, we thought the stars were just dots of light and space was basically empty between them. Then, in the span of a single decade, we've discovered 3 interstellar visitors: Oumuamua, Borisov, and now Atlas. That's like fishing in the ocean for the first time and immediately catching 3 different species you didn't even know existed. It means the cosmic ocean is swarming with life. Not necessarily living creatures, but dynamic, moving, tangible stuff. And here's where the excitement turns into a kind of cosmic urgency. Every one of these visitors is a time capsule. Inside 3I/ATLAS could be material formed around a different star billions of years ago, preserved in deep freeze for an interstellar eternity. We're talking about untouched chemistry from a solar system that might not even exist anymore. If that doesn't give you goosebumps, you might want to check your pulse. Some scientists think studying these objects could answer huge questions about how life begins. Imagine if we find amino acids, the basic building blocks of biology, in one of these travelers. That would hint that life's ingredients aren't rare, they're spread all over the galaxy like cosmic pollen. Suddenly, the idea of life elsewhere stops being maybe and starts feeling like when. And this is why astronomers are practically drooling over the idea of a hit-and-run space mission. Picture this: a visitor gets spotted. We launch a spacecraft within months. We intercept it halfway between Earth and Jupiter, and we snap high-res photos, analyze its gases, maybe even grab a sample and bring it home. It would be the closest thing to shaking hands with another solar system. But until that happens, our only tool is curiosity. And curiosity is contagious. That's why I'm talking to you right now. The more people who care about these discoveries, the more likely we are to fund the telescopes, the missions, and the science that make them possible. If you're even a little fascinated by the thought of alien icebergs drifting between stars, do me a favor. Hit that like button so more people see this, and subscribe so you're here for the next mystery visitor. And hey, share this video with the most curious person you know, because here's the truth. The universe isn't waiting for us to be ready. These objects are flying by whether we notice or not. Everyone we miss is a story lost forever. But everyone we catch, that's a new chapter in humanity's understanding of its place in the cosmos. So next time you step outside at night, look up. Somewhere out there, maybe already on its way, is another interstellar traveler, carrying secrets older than our planet, heading straight for our corner of the galaxy. Will we be ready? I hope so, because in the grand story of the universe, we've only just turned the first page.